into the vertical blank.
So long before there were actual video games that we knew we could own, there was the Sears Wish Book. And the Sears Wish Book came every fall, and our job as kids and other kids that we knew that were in the same situation we were, our job was to look through the Sears Wish Book and circle the things that we wanted for Christmas. And it so happens that on wishbookweb.com, they have lots of Sears wish books that you can look through. Also Montgomery Ward and JCPenney. It's a really cool website that has versions of these catalogs, going far back, but mostly in the 70s and 80s. And you can page through them. 1977 is sort of a banner year for the wish book because it came out in the fall, yet Star Wars was also out that year, but there are no Star Wars toys in the wish book. Atari came out that year, but there's no actual Atari VCS in the wish book either. There's no Legos. Really, this 1977 wish book is sort of the height of toys before video games. And I thought it would be kind of cool if we went through it, because discovering video games in like 1978 changed everything. But there was a time before that. And the things we liked to do and the things we wanted and the things that kids did, I think it's very interesting to discover what those were before the entire world changed when Star Wars, Legos, and video games appeared. So here's our discussion of the Sears Wish Book, 1977.
Into the vertical blank, generation Atari. Into the vertical blank, generation Atari.
Like it's October right now, mid-October, right?
Yes.
And I remember about this time, the Sears Wish Book would show up in the mail, basically to every house in America, but to our house in particular. And that meant that it was time for us to go through and mark down the stuff we wanted for Christmas. And we basically go through and circle it, either circle it and write our name by it or whatever. And then Mom would then pick it up and look at the things we circled. We never actually told her about them. She just looked at the stuff we circled, and then magically Santa Claus will bring stuff for Christmas. So what's really cool is there is a site on the internet, which I put in the show notes, called wishbookweb.com. And this guy there, who I actually emailed to ask if we could use the images, but we thought we would go through the presents or products in the wish book from 1977. Some of these we got, some of these we asked for, some of these we got and asked for not in 1977, but many years before, and maybe even some years after. And then there's a bunch of weird stuff too.
There's stuff that I remember really wanting and circling, but knowing I would never get. And things that just amazed me that they are in this book too. I don't know why.
10 are just dishonorable mentions I came up with. So number 60.
Wait, no, what page? Oh, sorry.
Page 212 are these kids' suits. And I looked at these kids' suits, and they're kid-sized suits. I remember these existing when we were kids. I think it kind of reminds me of Rick Schroeder when I look at the kid wearing the green one to the left. But like kid suits with no ties, so they're like cool suits. And all I could think of when I saw these was, thank God our parents couldn't afford to buy us suits.
Yeah, these are awful.
They're absolutely horrifying.
These are horrifying.
Suits. But I remember them existing, and I just wondered, like, who wore the... Did we have friends? I think we had probably friends who had a suit.
You know what? I think, like, Mike K. from grammar school might have had a suit. I can think of Evan P. might have had one. I don't know though. I don't remember, but it's just because the two kids in this picture actually look like Mike K and Evan P. That's why.
That's true.
Kid suits not cool. Okay, so number 59, dishonorable mention
on page 181.
Men's leisure jumpsuits on page 181, and these are horrifying.
I think the most horrifying part is the zipper that goes all the way down the front.
Yes, although
I don't know why.
Now I remember that we had an Uncle Richard who worked at Lytton for a long time in other aerospace, and he was really into his own airplanes, and he would work in his hangar all the time, and he would have actual jumpsuits that were baggy, and they were for working on airplanes.
These are not that. These are tailored jumpsuits.
This is a moose knuckle crusher.
Is this like the Parisian night suit that was on Freaks and Geeks?
Must be, Steve. Must be the close. Parisian night suit. Those some Freaks
looks
and
like
Geeks.
a Parisian night suit.
Well, let's move on to the next one.
Let's go on to number 58, which is on page 198. And there, I called these not these pajamas.
Wow. Oh, my Lord.
Pajamas with masks. And one is Bugs Bunny, but it's like a maniacal killer Bugs Bunny, and one is the creepiest clown you have ever seen in your life.
That is quite possibly the scariest clown ever.
Now I'm thinking that this might have been like it might have been scary on purpose. Like I don't think people didn't think this was scary back then.
They must have, but even the Bugs Bunny is scary.
Yeah, the masks are just not right in these pictures here on page 198 of the Sears 1977 catalog.
The next one actually is two. It's 56 and 57, and these were the pajamas that you and I actually got, and they're awesome.
We had these pajamas.
This counts as two because they're awesome.
It's like Winnie the Pooh was one, and I think we had something else, but I think I remember in blue. But yes, they're the most comfortable pajamas on the planet.
But these are cutest.
Close to page 198.
These are the cutest pajamas I've ever seen.
Yeah, they are. They're good.
And one's Winnie the Pooh, and what's the other one? Because
it looks like it's also Winnie the Pooh with Eeyore on it. But yeah, those are. I like them because there are pajamas. So I know, looking at this, Mom bought those pajamas for us.
Yeah, and they were.
Look through this. We didn't circle these pajamas in the Sears Wish Book for Christmas.
How much these cost?
She did.
$5. So that's why we got these pajamas.
Oh yeah, they're totally. We didn't like the ones below. I think are like $15. The one with the Bugs
she
Bunny.
never would have got the scary mask.
No way.
For us
the $5 pajamas. That's her speed right there.
55.
55 is the unicycle. This is on page 562, and I just want to point at the unicycle to you. I remember seeing these unicycles in the Sears Wish Book all the time. My question for you is, did you ever look through the Sears Wish Book and say, yeah, I want a unicycle?
No, but you know who did? Adam Carolla. And he had an entire thing about wanting a unicycle. No, I never wanted one, Steve.
And then also on page 564 is a pogo stick. And the pogo stick equally as dangerous, but a little bit more powerful. I never wanted a pogo stick, but my kids did, and they ended up getting pogo sticks. Mom would have never bought us a pogo stick.
No,
There's no possible way.
She was too smart for that.
Yeah, and the unicycle, not as well. But I mean, because she wanted us to grow up and have grandkids.
Right, exactly. So number 54 is the football helmet radio. Now
this isn't a bad present. It's on page 604. I remember these football helmet radios.
Right, I remember it, and I actually wanted a Raiders or a Rams. Oh no, not a Raiders. Raiders weren't around at that time. They weren't LA. I wanted a Rams one at the time.
And I only put this in here because I never wanted one ever.
Well, I don't know if I wanted one of these particularly radios, but I know we were fans of the Rams at the time.
Right. So. If you wanted one, you would have got the Rams one.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who had these, but I remember these were fairly popular.
Okay, so
time.
I would much rather have 54, which was the football helmet radio, than 53. What's 53, Steve?
53 on page 599 are Vanity Fair AM radio big ear headphones, and they're headphones with big ears on them.
They look like something that Pee Wee Herman would have in his house.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like a Pee Wee Herman product. Yeah, they're horrifying. And the kid wearing them only looks like he wants to take them off. So, yeah.
So 52 is really a set of the Halloween costumes you would find at the grocery store in Thrifties, but they call them play suits. And then
first of all, they're on page 479.
479. You have, I think, Bionic Woman and Bionic Man, Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Batman, and then when you get to King Kong, it has King Kong on it.
Yeah.
It
so
doesn't work.
All of them, these are actually pretty good costumes because they're unlike the the ones we got at the store in the boxes, they don't just say like the Wolfman across the front and you have a mask or Spider-Man in like marketing letters, and they actually look like the costumes except for the King Kong one, which literally says King Kong on the front.
And I think it's because they couldn't really do a good King Kong one. They got the license, but they didn't know what to do with it.
Okay, 51, the last dishonorable mention, and the thing I just don't understand, and it was in the catalog twice, once on page 338 and a different one on page 530. And it's a can stacker.
I don't understand this.
And I think I actually wanted this when I was a kid because I thought it came with the cans because I loved fake food. But it doesn't. It's just a plastic thing you can stick cans in for your can collection.
Like beer can collection.
Yeah, but all of them have like one is a kids collection like 7-Up and Bubble Up and Tab and stuff. And they're trying to sell this as something kids do. Did you know any kid ever who collected cans?
I think I read it in a book one time, something like that. But no, I mean, sure, there were some because kids had nothing to do in the 70s.
This is like a Midwesty thing. We had the beach to go to, I guess, so we didn't have to collect cans.
There might have been some, but yeah, this is just weird. And this means
I just like that it's in there twice.
Yeah, there's two different ones. It's the same price though. Oh, wait, 1,747 or 1,749.
Yeah, so one is white and the other one looks like it's black.
I remember reading books back then where kids were collecting the cans. There was something to it, although it's not something we ever wanted. But I can remember like lots of kids collected beer cans and soda cans. In fact, the cans were much cooler because they were like tin cans.
Yeah, I could see it being a thing because the cans do look cool on here.
Yeah, but it just wouldn't be something now, obviously.
The top 50.
Okay, number 50, page 575.
575, number 50. Earth movers. These are like giant, 575. These are like sort of giant Tonka yellow construction vehicles. And we had these. We had the dump truck. I know we had the dump truck, and we had one of the other ones. But here's why I put it in here, because I know we circled this, and I know we got it. Not when we were 7 years old, probably when we were younger. They probably were there for a while.
One of these at least.
But okay, so here's a funny story. Okay, the word earth mover. So we had these, and when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I totally blanked on the word earth mover. And I swear to God, for like 15 years, I was like, what's that other word for bulldozer? I don't know what it, and it bothered me. And I thought about it like once a day, every single day of my entire life.
And there's no place to look it up back then.
No, it's not like I could go to the encyclopedia and go, what's another name for?
But you could have gone to a thesaurus.
Maybe, but I didn't even know what a thesaurus was at the time. Okay,
yeah, when you're 5, yeah.
But then I started working at the library, and within a week, I started reading the Richard Scarry books again because I was 17, and that's what you do when you're 17 and you work at the library. And one of the pages had an earth mover on it, and I'm like, holy shit! I've been wondering what this is for the last 12 or 13 years of my life, and now I found out what it was, and I've never forgot it since. It's always been earth mover.
You can tell that we grew up in suburbia. I'm sure anyone that grew up in a rural area knows what an earth mover is right away. So 49. Now, this is Texas Instruments' Little Professor, page 352. This is cool. It's something I wanted. I remember that I found in our Ivy one time, someone had dropped, and I kept for myself, a Data Man, which was a much more expensive, more impressive.
You mean so we had Ivy in the front of our house, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's Ivy in the front of our house. Someone dropped it out of their backpack or something.
Kids walked, so there's no sidewalk, so they have to walk through the Ivy if they didn't want to walk in the street. And so it was a catcher of things that kids dropped from their backpacks.
And it was a great thing, electronic thing called called Data Man, and it was like Texas Instruments Little Professor, which is basically a calculator, but it was that on steroid. A Little Professor actually asked you questions and things you have to answer them. But Data Man.
Do you remember someone had this? I can't remember. It was either Carrie or Eric Barth or something.
But one of the two, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had two friends, one up the street, one down the street, whose parents spoiled them with all sorts of stuff. So it just we didn't know which one it was at. But so it's yellow and looks like there's an owl on the front, but it's not an owl. It's like a professor. And anyway, it was a cool kids calculator at the time. And I probably circled this, but there's no way we'd ever get it.
Number 48, Steve. What's
Okay,
that?
number 48 is on page 478, and it is a gumball machine. There's actually many more gumball machines in the catalog too, and I only put this on here because my entire life I've wanted a gumball machine, and I've never gotten a gumball machine.
I've purchased gumball machines for both boys like 3 or 4 times when they were little, and basically they just ate the gum and not you didn't. I didn't really eat the gum. But
See, I learned my first lesson in commerce from a gumball machine.
Yeah.
And it probably was fascinating because I remember we were at the Vans shoe store in like 1974 or something, or 3, one of the 2 or 3 Vans that existed. This is in Manhattan Beach. And they had a gumball machine there, and I had a diamond in my pocket. And I'm like, oh, if it's a penny for 1 gumball, then if I put a dime in, I'm going to get 10. So I put my dime in, and I got 1 gumball. And that's because gumball machines are stupid. They don't know the difference between a penny and I learned that.
They don't know the difference, right? This was not in the time of thinking learning machines, Steve.
Exactly.
Okay, so number 47, Pillsbury cake making kit on page 477. I don't think I'd ever circle that though.
No, okay, so here's why I circled it. Whenever we looked through the catalog, I loved any toy that had lots of packages of stuff in it.
Yes.
I wanted a bunch of stuff.
I see this now.
I remember lots of these and wanting a Pillsbury cake decorating kit. And I think we got one at some point.
Maybe.
But I don't know exactly. I remember kind of making the cakes or something with it. Maybe it was with one of the ovens or something. But I remember getting one of these, and it was disappointing because we only did it once, and it was gross and everything. But
same with the Hot Wheel maker. Same thing with that. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, what's number 46, Steve?
46 is a bow and arrow. It's really simple. It's a bow and arrow. I think I must have circled the bow and arrow every time there was in the wish book, but we never got a bow and arrow. And why?
Because we would have killed someone. Plus it's $15. Plus it's $60.
There's another one. It's $60. If you'll notice, most of the stuff that we actually got from this catalog was under like $15.
Yeah, of course. I mean, talking about under $15 then was like that was like a $50 present now.
And Mom had 4 people to buy presents for, and she was intense about making everything fair.
Equal.
Yeah, equal. And
equal
I'll
fair,
even point that out to you a little later. Okay.
So bow and arrow. Okay, that's a weird one. Okay, so number 45, the character label maker on page 443. I always wanted a label maker.
I wanted a label. I have a label maker now. I got one at Costco to make labels. But yes, the label maker was fantastic. I always wanted one because I wanted to label stuff. I can't explain why, but yes.
I still want a label. We have a label maker, but I want another one. I was using them to label the tops of the Atari 800 carts and the 5200 carts because they don't have hand labels. And then something happened when Jeannie had it. I ran out of tape or something, and then I figured I want my own. Okay, number 44, Steve.
Okay, number 44 is a stop sign. It's literally a stop sign.
On page 444, Steve, it's number 44 on page 444. It's a stop sign with a number 4 on it.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yes, I always wanted a stop sign to put in our room. I love stop signs.
Didn't we get a warning sign and put it up when we were teenagers or something like that?
We did get some sort of warning sign that we got on one Halloween night. That's a story. That's a different story.
Yeah. No, I meant there was something we put up. So, okay. Number 43 on page 468.
Hugo, Man of 1,000 Faces. Now, maybe I would say we could have swapped this one for the Football Helmet Radio in the dishonorable.
Yeah, I didn't want Hugo at all. I don't know why it's not in here, but
I always thought Hugo was fascinating. There's no way Mom would get it for us because it looked satanic. I'm totally sure. I thought we got it. Like I could swear we had it, but maybe it was somebody else that had it.
Maybe. I remember seeing it a lot though, and it scared me. And you know what scared me more? What Simon says right below it. The weird dummy.
On the same page, the rest of the page 468 is filled with ventriloquist dummies. Filled with them.
I probably ripped that page out and put it in like Granny's fireplace. I
would have thrown it away. One of our sisters probably would have done that. They probably would have taken the page out.
Exactly. 42 is a wooden Mattel train, page 503. And this would have been
train.
This probably wouldn't have been when I was 7. I probably would have wanted this back when I was 4 or 5. But yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We got this when we own this. when we were like 2 or 3, we got this. This is the train that we had our entire lives, and so it's in this list because I know Mom got it. Now I know where Mom got it from, the Sears catalog.
And it was $8.95.
Yeah, it was $8.95. So it's right within her price range, and it's by Mattel. So good job, Mattel.
Yeah, good job, Mattel.
Archive sales. I nearly bought one of these. Number 41, soccer ball.
41, soccer ball. Now, I think we were pretty intrigued by all sports, especially soccer. Even then, it was AYSO at the time for us.
This is page 410, by the way.
410, and most likely we did not get a soccer ball.
No, there's no way we got a soccer ball because at the time, Dad would have thought that it was crazy European sport.
It was commie, but then later on,
European sport.
Later on, his attitude changed.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have gotten it. But we certainly probably circled it because we were like, "What's that soccer thing?"
We used to play on the playground with like a billion kids soccer with a red rubber ball.
Yeah,
and it was like
around the soccer.
It's when we were like 6. It was like 6.
Yeah, okay. This is what they did. Okay, that was funny because what they did was at school we were playing. This is when we're like 2nd grade. We took up the entire grass field, which is probably the size of 2 soccer fields, playing a game of soccer with like every boy and some girls just chasing the ball around.
The entire thing. Yeah, the entire field.
So then like we did that for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then someone's like at school is like, "Whoa, we can't have these kids going crazy playing soccer." So we're gonna make a square. So they took like, I don't know, a 40 by 40 square, and they said, "Here, you boys plus some girls, play soccer inside this square."
Yeah, that didn't happen.
But what they made the mistake of, they made the square just like a baseball diamond.
Right.
So instead of playing soccer, we just started playing kickball on it instead.
And it was a perfect kickball diamond.
Perfect kickball for years. I think we even played kickball on it as like adults. Like we went back and played a game of kickball on that same burned out diamond back in like the 90s.
Oh yeah. By the way, they didn't chalk it. They burnt the grass
they burnt the grass.
Anyway, so number 40 on page 521, an Etch-a-Sketch. And I know we got 2 of these. We used to make games with these all the time.
I'm certain, yeah. So why don't you explain the game that we made with one of these?
So there was a driving game we made with an Etch-a-Sketch where we would each make a course for each other with Scotch tape on the Etch-a-Sketch, and we would time the person going through the course with the Etch-a-Sketch's controls, and then we would each do it and we'd time each other. And so what we got was our version of a handheld video game.
That's exactly what we would design the game for each other, and then we time each other playing it with the digital watch, or was it with like just a regular like stopwatch?
At this point, you could probably get cheap digital watches for a few dollars.
I didn't have a cheap digital watch until I was 13.
Okay, so then at this point, we're probably using a kitchen timer or just...
I think a mechanical timer.
Yeah, most likely.
Probably stole it from Dad's room. So Etch-a-Sketch, yes, I'm certain we both got them. I'm certain Mom got them right from this catalog.
Yeah, let me explain 39.
39. Okay, good. It's a Foot Locker. It's on page 511. Wait, the Etch-a-Sketch was on page 521. The Foot Locker is on page 511.
Okay, so this was an all-wood Foot Locker, and what I really wanted at this time was a box to put my stuff in, right? Yeah. And so we did each get a Foot Locker, but it wasn't this one.
It was a
metal one, and it must have been cheaper because I know I probably circled this, but this is a $21.99 Foot Locker. If you see other things that are $22 in this, you could buy a kitchen table.
Yeah, there's no way
$22 in this.
There's no possible way.
This isn't like, I'm not talking about like prices from 1920s, but I'm saying there were things for $22. You're talking about, it's way too expensive in 1977 for that Foot Locker.
Yeah, so this is where your eyes were bigger than Mom's wallet.
Yeah,
there's no possible way she was going to buy that.
Definitely. She did get something, though. She always did a good job of getting either equivalents or, that she could afford.
Something like it. Yeah. Okay. Number 38 on page 504 is a little doctor medical kit.
Love it.
And we got one of these.
Yep.
At least we got a version of it. I think at the $4.95 one, because I remember it being a red. So it's down in the corner. It says $4.95. It's a little red one. I remember we had a little red kit.
Yep. And ours came with candy. They couldn't do this now, but inside a pill bottle there was candy.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that now.
No way could you do that now.
Yeah, there's
possible. You're right. There was candy in the pill bottle.
Yes.
But this is we probably use this as part of our emergency 51, squad 51.
Of course. Yeah, pulling it out in the wagons or whatever. Sure.
Okay, do number 37.
Okay, 37. I did add this one. It's a superhero sleeping bag. And
page 435?
On page 435, it's a superhero sleeping bag. The only reason I put this in was that I always wanted a sleeping bag.
Me too.
I didn't think we would go camping, and Dad had some really nice, I think there probably were Sub-Zero sleeping bags from the Army.
Surplus, the Army surplus.
Army surplus, like Sub-Zero sleeping bags. But I always wanted my own, right? And so...
our own kid's sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Because everything was also adult and...
Our house was full of adult stuff. Not adult things, but adult. Anyway, things sized for adults. Okay, do you remember 36, Steve? Number 36, page 408. Football shoulder pads. I just remember liking this football equipment page. I don't know why. I don't remember actually circling the shoulder pad. I looked at it too. But I liked it. I just remember it was cool to have this football equipment page. Now, what I really wanted was a baseball batting helmet, but there weren't any in here. So I remember just looking at this page and going, wow, this stuff's cool.
I think we were intrigued by padding.
Yes.
Like being able to put pads on and then we wouldn't get hurt.
Yes.
Because like all the kids our age, or most of them, when we went outside to play, we came back hurt often.
Very often. Yeah. It was not necessarily hospital hurt. Like a couple times I needed stitches and I had to go to the hospital or something like that. Greg across the street, his bike, he crashed and had to call the paramedics because he was unconscious. There were a few times when I got scraped up really bad, doing speed wobbles and fall off the skateboard, but never had to go to the hospital. But you always came out worse for the wear, and that's what being a kid was in the 70s.
Yeah, totally. Okay, 35, Weeble Wobble Treehouse on page 501. We always, for some reason, wanted Weeble Wobbles, and I think we circled them, but they were never on the top of Mom's list to get for us.
No,
or they were too expensive. But we did end up getting this Weeble Wobble Treehouse.
I know where we got it from.
Where?
Okay, so
it was late. Like we were like 10 or 11 years old.
No, we're 10. We're 10. We're like 8 or 9.
Okay.
We walked up to Guild Drug with Mom, and therefore going to the liquor store or something and looking for Star Wars cards or whatever. We went into the Guild Drug, and they had this on sale half off. And it was down from like $6.95 to like $3.95 or something. And Mom bought it for us like a summer day. And we could play with it. And so I liked it, but it didn't really do much. And we didn't have it. It was way before we could get an Atari or anything like that. So it was around this time, actually. Maybe 1 year
probably,
later.
a year after or something.
But we were intrigued by Weeble Wobbles because we never had them.
Yeah, and there were commercials for Weeble Wobbles all over the place. And we just never had. So we were, but it was at the end of the Weeble Wobble cycle when we got this.
Now, explain number 34, Steve, because I think this is awesome.
Okay. Number 34, Jeff, number 34. A ride-on crane.
Yes, that is awesome.
Page 506 is like, this is an actual working crane that you ride on and operate. This is amazing. I don't know if I actually would have circled this or any of this stuff. But now that I look at it, I wonder why I didn't want to ride on crane.
I think we knew it was $20. Oh, that wasn't. I mean, maybe it was unfortunate, and I try to shield my kids from this as much as possible. But Justin doesn't care. For Ryan, for some reason, he's got the idea to care about what the prices of things are, just because. But we knew everything about every price because we knew exactly what we were going to get or not based on the price.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So roller number 33, page 584, a roller coaster stunt buggy. Now, it's not something you ride. It is like a Matchbox or Little People like roller coaster. It's not either one of those.
Yeah, it's like a mini roller coaster with these little cars that go on it. So they like roll. They kind of get taken up just like a roller coaster lift, and then they roll down and go through a bunch of little obstacles and come out and go back in. And I remember I wanted this really bad, and then we saw it at our friend's house, and it's really kind of boring. So
it's the lift that we really liked too.
Yeah, the lift was cool. But in the toy biz, Jeff, professional toy biz, we call this a watch me.
Oh, it is
not a good thing. It's something that kids watch, not do.
You not do, right. Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay. You drive it. Number 32, you drive it. Page 580. I remember wanting this, and I know some one of our friends must have had it. It is a thing with a steering wheel and a foot pedal, and you push on it, and it drives a little car around a little track in front of you.
I don't remember if the track itself turns and the car stays in place and it moves right to left. I feel like it's like a record player, and it turns the track, and the car kind of moves right or left on, like across. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to read. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm trying to read the description to see. This is what it says. Steering wheel regulates the car's course via rotating magnetic wand under platform that you drive, in quotes, the car around the obstacle course. It just went in circles, and your car stayed in place. Yeah.
It was so cool. I mean, I remember it had a steering wheel and a shifter. I just wanted something like this so badly.
Yeah, exactly. Because the one thing that we would do is drive around with their parents, and you could watch them drive the car, and you're all, I want to do that. So, a lot of kids wanted that. Number 31, page 404, a skateboard. I remember
we would have wanted this like the next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was so there's no way we're going to get this. This Hobie skateboard is $55.
Oh, yeah, no way.
A flexible flyer that you could pick up, both the wooden one, which we did get, or a plastic one, were between $5 and $13 at the Thrifties. We got a flexible flyer wooden ones, which I liked a lot, but they didn't. The trucks and wheels were actually more like this, which were big plastic trucks that not like the softer plastic that you would get on a professional skateboard.
Yeah, no, I remember we saved up our money to get our skateboards.
Yeah,
our parents were not into it at all.
No, they were probably pretty smart, actually.
But I remember Mom took us to the Thrifties at night. For some reason, it was at night, and we both bought our skateboards and took them home. And I remember riding in the driveway in the dark for about an hour.
She had to get around to okay, I really have to go do this.
Yeah, we were super excited about it. Okay, number 30 on page 617. It's our clock radio that we had.
It is our clock radio
that we had in our room for 20 years or something. The one in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm supposing that we did not circle this, but this is where Mom got it.
So this is a digital clock radio, and no, these are way too expensive. So my guess is that Dad either picked one up at so normally he wouldn't buy anything at Radio Shack. He hated
We didn't get it this year. I mean, we got this thing 5 years later.
Oh, okay, right. But I mean, a digital clock radio at this time in '77. Yeah. This is $50 for something that shows a time, possibly has an alarm, and lets you do AM/FM. This is incredibly expensive.
Yeah. I really wanted one though, but because I didn't like to look at the regular clock all the time, like most sane kids.
So number 29, page 542. This is the Comp 4. It actually was a little computer game that you could play, and I remember being intrigued by it and circling it. It was $24. We never got it, and
it's too expensive. It's too much from Mom's budget side. There's no way we could get. It's too expensive as a single present.
But it looks like it's more like it's got a keypad on, looks like a digital phone kind of, but more an Atari 400 style keypad. And it has a little screen, and it did trivia games and stuff, I'm pretty sure.
It says it wants you to break the secret code. I wonder if it's a little bit like Mastermind in that sense.
I'm trying to read the description. It is
a game that challenges you to break computer secret code as fast as possible.
Okay. So it's a $25 version of Mastermind.
Yeah, we would have been really disappointed.
Yeah, we would have been pissed.
We were disappointed with all the electronic toys we got before Atari.
So, except for the same year we got Atari, we did get 2 electronic games on Christmas Eve. So 28, erector sets. We even had a fantastic erector set. I don't know if it was this one or not.
So so we had the one, if it had a blue case, which I think it does have a blue case over there.
This one looks red.
I think this shows up. No, that's the motor. But we had the one with the motor. Yes, I mean, Dad got us an erector set.
Dad probably thought I'm going to turn them into engineers. What he didn't realize was that's not. And plus, the kid in the top right-hand corner looks like you from
That's strange, isn't it?
So, Dad wanted us to have erector sets, and we wanted to. And he actually taught us a lot of skills for building stuff and stuff like that. Still, I break every computer that I open. So,
okay, 27. This is a game called Codename Sector. on page 542. Electronic one-player game like Battleship where you search for submarines. I know I circled this every year and never got it.
$34.
$34.
Yeah, no way. But still, it's pretty neat, actually.
Okay.
26, portable stereo phonograph, page 608. Now, we did get something like this, but not in 77. Very similar. It was probably when we were 9 or 10, we got a phonograph, all-in-one phonograph with built-in speakers. We could play our K-Tel records on it. And
well, I know we had one when I bought
Kiss singles.
I bought the Story of Star Wars record.
Right.
And I know we had a place to play it in our room, and I thought it was something like this.
Well, we had a little white one before we got the black one.
Oh, okay.
So the little white one we played that on, but when we actually went to record store with Mari one time and asked her, Mari, what's a good band to get? And she said, it's not the band, it's the song or something like that. And then I wanted to get a Who record, but we ended up getting Cheap Trick and Kiss at 45s. Oh, and cool. We played them on this black all-in-one player. So what's number 25, Steve?
25 is this cassette recorder. I don't know when we got this cassette recorder. This looks like the exact cassette recorder we owned. Yeah. But this is the same cassette recorder we played our Starpath Supercharger tapes on.
Yes, exactly. So page 605, page 605. It looks like a realistic, but it's not, because realistic was...
yeah, I don't think we had realistics. I don't think Dad would have allowed us to have any Radio Shack equipment other than like things that were really cheap.
Oh, that was something we really wanted, like Pong. Then we got Radio Shack version.
Yeah, well, no, we got the, what was it called? TV scoreboard.
Yeah, it was
emphasis on board.
Yeah, we did play it a few times, and then it broke. 24, something we absolutely would never, we wanted, and Dad wanted, and he actually built his own cocoon with one of these, a full train layout. It's 593.
Awesome. There's several. Page 593. There's a couple others. I always went past these pages, and I wanted these full train layouts with like a mountain and a tunnel, and if you look at it, it's actually kind of a piece of garbage.
Well, no, I mean it's pretty cool for $89 or whatever, but I mean it had lots of cool pieces with it. Just those individual pieces would cost you $89 now.
Just one of the houses.
Just one of the houses. But yeah. I remember for a long time we really wanted. There used to be train stores around and stuff like that, and we really wanted to do this, but we didn't have the room for it.
No, there's no way we could have done it. But it was cool to think about. We did get a train, and we could take it apart and put it together. I think I wrote a whole story about that. But,
okay, so
next one,
23, generic helicopter and rescue squad for Action Jackson, not G.I. Joe. I wanted this so badly, and guess what? I got it, and you got the helicopter.
Yeah, we did, and I say for Action Jackson because we didn't have G.I. Joes. We had Action Jackson. Why do we have Action Jackson?
No, this is Action Jackson, but it was just Action Man.
Maybe it was Action. I don't know. He was cheaper though, is what it was.
Yeah, he was a little bit
way
smaller.
Cheaper. You could get a whole kit at two guys.
But the thing about it is, there's this squad that has a place for you to put your equipment in, which is what I always wanted, and we did get that. But I remember later on wanting to get one again and never could.
Now, this is on page 573.
Yes, we got them though.
Yeah, so I remember us putting these in. Now look at the price, $9.95, $9.97, perfect. Mom must have been really excited,
right,
that she could get these. They came in huge boxes. They were huge.
Yeah, I remember that.
They fit like a G.I. Joe sized guy. But this is what I remember. This is we ruined Christmas because it was, I don't know, it wasn't when we were 7. Maybe we were 6, maybe we were 7. It could have been this year actually. We snuck into her room.
Oh yeah.
And looked in her closet to see, and we saw that she'd got these for Christmas for us, and it fucking ruined Christmas.
Maybe for you, but not for me. I
had for me because I had to like pretend. Oh, cool! I made just what I want. I had to like pretend to be surprised.
But you did.
The first time I had to like lie, like the very first lie I had to make to my mom.
Yeah,
lie about whether I hadn't seen the thing before. But no matter, it was awesome.
Okay, number 22, Fort Geronimo on page 566. Okay. Where there's a cavalry fort and Indians who have a teepee for some reason, because they wouldn't have a teepee when they're going into battle. But maybe
probably not right next to the fort. No,
probably not to the fort. But I remember really wanting this.
Remember we had some kind of fort.
Yeah, we may have gotten this. It's only $10.
Yeah,
so
we may have gotten this one. I don't remember us getting these figures though. I don't remember those figures.
Cool.
But I always wanted I don't know if we got this one. I think we got like a cheaper one with characters that weren't painted.
Why don't you read your comment about this, Steve?
Well, my comment is nothing like a good helping of insensitivity to go through Christmas gifts. Okay, Cowboys and Indians were really our first taste of Empire versus Rebellion, but in reverse. I always wanted a fort with lots of cowboys. So
I mean, because now I would play Indians and I'd have them whipping the Cowboys' asses. So,
but see, even then though, I always didn't buy that the Indians were the bad guys.
Yeah, it was tough too, especially when most of the time when we were the savages in quotes that's how we survived in the winter when people first made it to the USA from other countries.
I think even as a kid, I'm like, I'm not buying your story.
I'm not buying your story. Exactly.
There's something not quite right about your story. But anyway, okay.
21.
21, Fonzie Pinball.
Yes.
Now, I know we circled this on page 546. It's literally a Fonzie pinball machine. It's almost full size.
I mean, it's stand up. It was for little kids. You'd be sitting down there. But
$54.94.
Yeah,
there were lots of pinball machines back then, which now there are almost none, and it's really sad. Like you can't really get a mini pinball machine, mechanical pinball machine.
We did want one, and we never got one. I mean,
look at the price.
I mean,
now, our sister Mari had one, and there's some lore about someone stepping on it and breaking it, but I don't know if that's actually true. Do you remember anything about that?
So back when she had her dark room in her room, I remember I couldn't see and it was dark, and I knocked over something and stepped on something when she wanted to show me something, and I remember telling her it's too dark, I can't see anything. I was like, I swear I was 7 or something. And ever after that, she blamed me all the time for anything ever that went wrong with her.
Was it this Fonzie pinball machine?
I have no idea. It
was some pinball machine like that.
I would like to buy her one, but I'm sure this cost $1 million.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Number 20, and there's a reason why this isn't higher on the list. Number 20 is Micronauts.
Ooh.
Now, remember Micronauts were probably the first action figures that were 4.5 inches tall.
That weren't a G.I. Joe or an Action Man, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are smaller. Our friends, everybody was so crazy, crazy for Micronauts. We had one. We had one Micronaut, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
If we wanted more, we would have got them, but I just didn't want any more. Okay. Shooting Gallery, 544, page 544.
There's also another one on page 11.
On page 11. We wanted Shooting Gallery. You want to read your comments on this one? Because
so here's the thing about Shooting Gallery. All right, so I'm sure there's another thing on this page called the Mark's Toys BB. It's like a BB Shooting Gallery. I'm sure that's what I wanted.
Tin Can Alley.
But what we ended up getting, because we never got anything, we ended up getting Tin Can Alley for our 10th birthday, which is on page 11.
Yeah.
And Tin Can Alley is the toy that made me want to work in the toy business, because it was so disappointing. So what Tin Can Alley is a rifle and a set of 5 tin cans that I think they light up one at a time, or you're supposed to shoot them. I can't remember exactly what, but I remember it shooting the cans, and
it's a light gun. You have to shoot that thing.
Well, no, it wasn't a light gun. See, that's the problem. It was like a light gun, except what happened was you're supposed to shoot the cans when the light lit up. And if the light lit up and you were supposedly aiming at the can and you shot, the can would fall over. But then what I learned was that it wasn't a light gun at all. I made a mistake and pressed the trigger when we were just about to eat our birthday cake or something. And I noticed when the cans went down, I'm like, oh, it must be because light bounces. I'm like, no. I kept testing it out and realized that if you pulled the trigger anytime one of the lights lit up, whether you aimed at the can or not, it would fall over. I'm like, oh, this is the most disappointing thing I've ever had, because it totally fooled me into thinking it was real, and it wasn't. And I'm like, if I ever make toys, I'm never going to do that.
Well, listen to the blurb, because it's a lie then. It says, test your target shooting skills on this exciting shooting range. How it works. Shoots a light beam bullet. Well, they're lying. It says they're basically saying nothing flies through the air, so they're just making shit up.
Yeah, at least the one that we had. This may not be the same one, but the one we had, and this is $30. So maybe we got the one for $9.95 or something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean though. I do remember that now. Ugh.
Okay, number 18.
Number 18. Tomy Blip, page 543. It's handheld Pong.
It's handheld Pong for 2 players, which I think it's just LEDs that light up across the screen.
For $7.44. Yeah, it's LEDs.
When I first saw this, I thought, wow. And then I saw the blip, the name Blip in that font there, and I'm like, I know that Blip. Yeah. I think we own this.
I think we own this too.
I mean, it wasn't very fun because all you do, like the Blip there's like 3 buttons you press. You have to press the right button when the Blip is hitting the right thing, but like it's really not a challenge there.
No, there's only 3 positions for your paddle.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was not the greatest.
Okay, page 402, Jeff. What's on page 402?
Page 402. A basketball hoop to go on your garage or wherever. And guess what? Eventually we did get one.
Yeah.
And we used it for 20 some odd years until we finally couldn't anymore because Dad had parked his camper in front of it for the next 20 some odd years.
Yes, but then the day we finally moved everything out of our parents' house, it was like 6 o'clock at night and like, I don't know, February 8th or something, 2018.
Yeah.
And you and I actually played one more basketball game on this hoop.
Did we really?
You don't remember that?
I do remember now. There was no net on it, right? Like there was no net.
No net. There was nothing there. But we played one last game. You kicked my ass, by the way.
I remember having this, and I would string up a net, and I would get up on a thing, and I would clean the backboard, make it more white. I would put new nets on all the time if there was any little tear in it. I took care of this thing like it was a child.
I know, but we played basketball on it. I mean, we loved it. We'd watch the Lakers or something, and then at halftime we'd go out and shoot some baskets, and then go back in. And
that was fun.
Dad would sometimes come out and watch us, and Mom would come out and watch us too. And then we made up that soccer game where you would try to kick the ball into the basket. Dad would play with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he would sometimes like with the Nerf ball, because we had it set at about 9.5 feet. It wasn't at 10 feet. With a Nerf ball in my hand, not a small Nerf ball, because that would have been lame, but like a Nerf soccer ball. So it's almost like kind of like a basketball. I could easily slam dunk on this basket. So Dad would pass me the ball and I would do slam dunks, and he was excited to do that. He was pretty good at understanding the wall pass in soccer. So it was the same thing. I would pass to him, he'd pass back to me on the run, and then I would fly up and do a slam dunk like a James Worthy Statue of Liberty dunk. Anyway, what's number 16, Steve?
Let's talk about 15 and 16 together. 15 and 16 is like Christmas 1978.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that because, I think it might have been earlier.
You got this.
Yes. Well, you got this
and
too.
I got that. And I got that.
So number 16 on page 537 is a chemistry set.
Right,
and
I got that.
$14.95. And I know this is the one you got because above it, the exact same year on page 532, the USS Constitution, like giant model, for $15.97. And that's almost equitable. That's why Mom would have got it.
That model right there would be like $2,000 now.
Okay, it was all plastic. No, it would be $2,000. It'd be like $99.
Well,
but listen, it was all plastic. I wanted this ship model so badly, and then it hung like a fucking albatross around my neck for the next 10 years because it sat in my closet, and I couldn't bring myself to put it together. It was just too complicated and too
models always look so much better when someone else had put them together than when you had to sit there and go through it.
Models are so much better in the box.
In the box, right. Exactly.
The box with the plastic pieces inside, it's like the potential to build it is way better than actually doing it. What about the chemistry set, though?
I got the chemistry set because I was reading, at the time I got this, I was reading
Danny Dunn?
Danny Dunn and the Scientific Method books and things like that. And so I really was excited about doing stuff. And I did a few little things. I mean, this has the stuff to make, it's got, it has powdered baking soda. You had to put your own vinegar with it to make it. There's no liquids in it. It's all powders. So there's sodium. It's just really simple stuff. And you could mix it with other household items and make little things. So it was just fun.
I remember us being really excited about a chemistry set.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. I had a lot of neat stuff in it too.
Yeah, it was neat. And then later we got one that had it was like a spy kit.
Yes, I remember getting that.
Number 14 on page 505, the camp play set.
And I remember getting this.
We got this. Yeah, we got this a few years earlier.
Yeah, it's a camp play set. It I don't know if we got the tent or not, but we certainly
no
got
tent.
the equipment.
But yeah, we got the equipment with the backpack, and there's like a green shovel and a flashlight. And I think the flashlight actually worked.
Yeah, it was cool.
Which is cool. So I know we had that one. Yeah, I know that. Number 13 on page 445. It's a massive art kit. Now we never got this.
No,
but I circled it every time because I wanted, just like the cooking baking set, I wanted the kit with all the stuff in it.
Yeah.
I loved having all the stuff, all the little packages and things. And I circled it every year, but there's no way we got it. But I think we did get an art kit at some point, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah, we'd always get little art kits, but it never was like the massive one.
What about massive?
Why don't you talk about 12 also then, Steve?
Okay, but this one's in like a box, like a latched box, and it's just amazing. So, okay, this one you also picked, I want to say. I
did after I saw you did it. I wanted to make sure it was doubled
Number
up.
12 is a massive fake kitchen on page 474.
It's huge.
It's like a giant fake kitchen. It's huge. And in the picture, it looks like it's two boys. It might not be, but it kind of looks like that. But I mean, kids' haircuts were pretty unisex back then, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, I always wanted this. I love the idea of fake food and packaging. I think it's because on the first day in kindergarten, they had this awesome fake kitchen, and I was like, I'm playing with the fake kitchen. And I went to go play at the fake kitchen, the food, and then either the teacher and some of the other kids told me that boys weren't allowed to play in the kitchen, and so I never did it again. But I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I gotta play in the kitchen. That's 1975 for you.
70s we thought the 70s were more progressive than they were, but that was lame.
I mean, Sears tried because there's boys in these pictures.
Right.
Looks like.
And the reason there's boys in the pictures is they know people with money are going to buy these for girls. They want them to think it's okay for boys because they want to sell more of them.
Yeah, and by the way, I still like fake kitchens. So
me too.
Just,
That's my favorite part of IKEA.
Yes. All right, number 11 on page 593
Oh, my Lord. The Aurora Slotless Racetrack, page 593.
These never Mom worked. Got it right here. You know she bought this for us right here, right?
Unfortunately, they never worked well.
No, it didn't work, but we had this exact one.
Yeah, this is really cool, though. And it even had like a ramp and stuff like that, but it was like slotless, meaning it just had electricity running through wires on the track.
Yeah.
Cars down and they would go, and it was awesome. But you could use them for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then you'd have to fix it, break it.
They broke way too much, the slotless racetracks, but they were cool.
It just wasn't there was no connectivity.
Okay, number 9 and 10 are both related to one another. One is on page 586 and 587. These are Evel Knievel toys. I want you to talk about number 10, the Evel Knievel toys, first.
Okay, well, the Evel Knievel toys we actually received on one Christmas morning, probably the year before this, actually.
A couple of years. No, we were like 5. We were like 4 or 5.
We actually each got
it was like 4 or 5 Christmases before.
We each got an Evel Knievel and the wind-up thing. I don't know if we got the van or not. I forget.
We got a van. Yes, we got
a van. It was awesome. And we ran these things around the house all the time.
Up the street.
Everywhere.
You wound it up and you let it go. It was I think the wind-up Evel Knievel motorcycle in 1974 or 1975 when it came out, probably the world's greatest toy.
Probably, for that time especially.
Because you could do so many things with it, right? And if you think about what we could do with it, you could do things like Evel Knievel would. Like you could set up a jump and actually watch Evel Knievel try to jump over. Right. He never would, because he'd always do an endo and fall right into the middle of stuff. But it didn't matter.
And what's an endo, Steve?
An endo is when you go up, you go over a ramp, but your front wheels go down, and then you go over this.
Yeah, your front wheel hits first, and you fly over the handlebars.
Yes.
Number 9, though, is something we never had.
Endo is end over end. Endo,
right.
Get it?
Yes, got it.
Number 9. The most amazing toy, page 586, Evel Knievel Stunt World. It's like a plastic mat with a molded cliff and a molded stadium with a jump, and it's fully painted. It's miniature, and it comes with a van, 2 Evel Knievel motorcycles, and like a jet and some other like trailer or something.
Not for use with the other one. These are tiny, right?
These are tiny. But I loved miniatures, and I wanted this so bad because I wanted a little miniature world to play in. And I wanted this we never got it, but it was, I remember someone had it because one of our friends had the van and had the jets and the motorcycles. But this was Ideal, no pun intended, because it was made by Ideal Toys.
Okay.
Number 7 and 8.
7 and 8. These are hilarious.
Okay.
So 7 and 8 are actual bikes?
Yeah, 421. So the first set is on page 421.
These are this is before BMX. So the motocross bikes they had.
No, Jeff. Motocross style bikes.
Excuse me. Motocross style bikes. These motocross style bikes kind of looked more like bizarre motorcycles than they did BMX bikes.
They look like 70s, like Dad's CZ, his Czechoslovakian, like motorcycle. Yeah. Number 2 kind of resembles it a little bit with the seat works. I wanted number 2 really bad. In this
Oh yeah. I mean, we didn't know any better. And there's even Evil Knievel
number 1. I probably circled number 2, and they looked at the $89.99 and the $79.99 and said no way. Fucking way.
And then there's another bike. The bikes we got.
So that's the bike we wanted. But on page 423 is the bike we got.
No, this is actually didn't even get that bike.
It's close. Yeah, this ours were fancier than the bike we got.
This is fancier than ours must have been about. These are $53. I think the ones we got were probably closer to $25, and they had plastic
Granny bought
wheels.
them for us.
Oh, okay. Well, they're orange with black seats and had plastic wheels.
Okay.
And actually weren't that bad for when you're 5.
No, they were cool. I still remember the day Dad took us to the school.
Penny camp.
Took the training wheels off. Oh my God! Like that was the most amazing feeling of freedom, just riding in circles. We both were just riding around and around and around in circles. That was awesome.
Number 6, a Bally full-size pinball machine, page 401. And you are correct about your assertion at the bottom here, Steve.
Yeah, my assertion is, I think, okay, so there's this Bally full-size pinball machine. I always wanted a full-size pinball machine. It didn't matter if it was a small one or a big one. I didn't know the difference. This pinball machine in particular was owned by our 5th grade Cub Scout leader. And he had his house. We had our Cub Scout meetings at his house. And I don't remember what his name was, but he had one of these pinball machines, but he wouldn't let us play it.
No.
And I remember begging him every time, can I play your pinball machine? Play your pinball machine. And finally, he let me play one ball, like at our last meeting. And you know what? The action wasn't that good.
Yeah, so you didn't miss anything.
He was also my baseball coach, and his son and the assistant coach's kid's son played all the best positions. And I came late, and I was the dirty kid from across the tracks, and I knew how to play baseball. And first they made me play outfield and let me do anything, and then they realized I could play baseball, and then they had me pitch and hit, clean up, and do everything else.
Anyway,
number
5.
This is a Matchbox Farm playset on page 578. I remember I did not circle this. Mom, this came for Christmas when I was like 3 or 4 years old. It was the greatest present ever.
Yeah, it was
giant. A farm playset. It's kind of reminded me of the Evil Knievel thing, except every car came with a bunch of cars. They all came in their own little individual boxes. And I just thought this was the greatest thing ever. A playmat with little plastic buildings on it and cars you could roll. I just wanted
for
another little world to play in.
For $9.95. Yeah.
I just wanted another little world to play in so badly.
Yeah. I know we got that one time. I got a Little People airplane and you got the garage. Didn't I get like an airport or something? Like I couldn't find my equivalent to this Matchbox thing. But
I don't know. I don't think it was this. It was something else. Because obviously Mom would have made it.
She would have made it even. That's what I mentioned.
She just didn't. Okay. Number 4. Why don't you talk about number 4, which is on page 492.
Number 4, Squad 51 Fireman set. Now I have no idea if we got this or not.
Yes.
I know.
We did. Oh, absolutely. We each had one. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
this is awesome.
Both had one of these.
It has, it comes with a loudspeaker so you can yell at people, and it comes with a mask and a canister of oxygen, air tank, and a helmet. And you were supposed to make rescues with this stuff. Yes.
And we did. In our wagon, we rescued each other. We had the medical kit and the camping kit and this kit, and we threw it all in, and we went out on rescues.
we did.
In the front yard.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember getting this is another surprise. That was another. So we did not want that necessarily, but we wanted it.
We wanted it. We didn't know we wanted it, right?
Okay. Number 3.
Yeah, this was
on page 532 and 567. Mattel Shogun Warriors. Now, this came out this year. You also notice this is 1977. There are no Star Wars toys on this list. There were no Star Wars toys.
There wasn't anything out yet.
Shogun Warriors were the closest thing to Star Wars. And Mattel made these, by the way. You got Mazinga and I got Dragoon.
Yeah, I got the one that shot 3 missiles from its hand.
And and I got the one that shot like stars from it. And we loved our Shogun Warriors like nothing else. They were amazing. Giant robots. But the funny thing is, and again, page 532 and 567, this probably should have led us to a life of, being enthusiastic about Japanese content and movies and stuff, but not really.
Well, there wasn't enough of that for us to really, because, you know why? Because really soon, Atari came out, and that was American.
That's right. Okay. Which leads us to number 2, which I actually found in here is Atari Video Music on page 401, which I can't believe it's actually. Wait a minute. Did you hear this? Let's listen to that a little louder. Another EVP with Uncle John trying to communicate with us. Here.
I don't remember ever seeing this or knowing about it.
I don't remember ever seeing it, but I would have thought this was incredible when I saw it. I wouldn't have known. I would have thought it was a video game, and probably would have wanted it.
This was for people dropping LSD, though. I think.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. But when I did that Pong thing, I actually took some of these designs and stuck them into the backgrounds of the.
Of course, no one evaluating that had any idea what it was.
No, they had no idea. Okay, number 1 on this list.
I remember
before we get to the super special surprise. Number 1 on the list, girder and panel.
Yes,
page 529. Do you remember girder and panel?
I remember building lots of buildings with girder and panel.
Before we had Lego, on page 529 again, girder and panel, which was a toy that you could build buildings with, and you'd put the plastic girders together to make like square buildings, and you could build like skyscrapers, and they just stick these plastic panels on the side to look like windows, and so they really kind of look like buildings. Like they
look like buildings.
It kind of looked like the stuff Mr. Brady would make for his architectural designs, and so we'd build these buildings, and they were kind of Hot Wheels size, so you could make a city for Hot Wheels, but the best thing was building it and then
destroying it,
playing Godzilla,
destroying it. The interesting thing about this wish book is there is no Lego in this wish book.
No, there's another brick, but there's no Lego. It's like a fake Lego. So I remember getting this on Christmas, like 78, 79, something like that.
Yeah.
And this is what I remember. I remember opening it and not knowing how to put the things together. And I went to ask Dad if he could help me. And I was looking. I said, I was looking through the instruction booklet, but I can't see how you put it together. I think there was another instruction booklet. And then he got really mad at me and said, I hate people who lose their instructions. And I'm like, but I didn't. And so I searched all day. This is Christmas Day, for the lost instructions, so he would help me put it together. And I never found them, and so he never helped me. But the thing was, it wasn't another instruction book. It was that little thing at the top of this page that shows how to stick the things together.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all
what
it was. It was actually on the box. And it just kind of showed how to put it together. But anyway, he never helped me. But you and I play with this stuff all the time. So
yeah, we figured this must have been a migraine day for him or something.
So number 1, girder and panel, and then I realized the point of this entire exercise is that so when we got the wish book, we knew after years of looking at the wish book that you go like halfway through. There were a bunch of pages in the middle that were like the ordering pages, and then there were a different like material, like a flimsy material that you use to tear out for your order form to like send orders out. After those pages, almost all the time, that's where all the kids stuff started.
Right.
You go sporting equipment, maybe like, bedding, and then it goes into the toys. So we learned to look at that half of the wish book.
Yeah, the front of the book was like ladies' bras.
We never looked at the front of the book. And if we had in 1977, we would have seen on page 4 and 5 the Sears Video Arcade, which was the Atari VCS.
Yeah, it was $178.95. We were never going to get it.
No way we'd get it, but we would have seen it. We would have known that it existed.
We would have been all over this thing.
I had no idea that existed. And I would have looked at that outer space game, which I think is turned out to be Starship.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that was the greatest thing ever. Like, we would have loved it, but Atari didn't realize, or whoever, Sears didn't realize that kids didn't look at this part of the Sears catalog, or at least we didn't.
They did not.
Because we knew to skip it. And by the way, there's more pages. There's like this cool Grand Prix 3D road racing thing on page 11.
For $54.98, yeah.
There were so many cool things on the first 10 pages, all electronic toys,
that we
all
never saw.
amazing
You
stuff.
know what? Maybe Mom and Dad wouldn't let us see these pages.
No, they just that's not true. They would have let us see the pages. We just didn't. We just never looked at them because we knew to look at. And I'm guessing that a good portion of kids did the exact same thing. And this is one of the reasons why Atari didn't do well that first Christmas out, is that they were basically placed in the wrong section of the Sears Wish Book.
Kids went to the Wish Book to look at the toys in the back and the sporting goods in the middle, but they were not, where you had started about page 400. But they didn't know to look at the front.
No, because the front of the catalog was always, before that, as far as I was concerned, was like women's clothes, and there's no reason I would ever look at that.
So the games that are in here, it says that it comes with Target Fun, which is
Air Sea Battle, right?
And then it has Speedway 2, which is
Street Racer,
Outer Space, Blackjack, Tank, which is obviously Combat, Race, which is Indy 500, and then Pong Sports, which is
Video Olympics. Yep.
So if we had seen that, we would have circled it. We would have never got it till 1981 anyway.
No, we still wouldn't have gotten it, but we would have known that it existed. We wouldn't have been in the dark. And then the next year when we saw it at Carrie's house, we'd have thought, oh, that's the thing we saw in the Sears catalog.
Right, but did she get Sears Video Kit? Or
no. She had the Atari, but it doesn't matter. We'd have understood that it was the same thing because we knew Sears had their own weird versions of things. They're like the Kenny shoes of companies.
Yeah, but Kenny's didn't rebrand.
They just made their own versions.
They made their own.
But we had Tough Skins, which I tried to find in here, and they were fake Levi's. So we knew that in some ways Sears made their own branded stuff.
Yeah, but I don't blame Mom for getting Tough Skins. One, they were better quality, and two, they're like $5 compared to the $20 for a pair.
I don't blame you.